Alright, hello and welcome to the first exhibition match of Custom Craziness. This is the first exhibition match of three. There will be two more coming over the next couple of weeks before the actual tournament gets underway. This is Legend of Zelda and Urban Architects versus Mountain Dwarves and Barbarians. Now, this won't affect standings since it's an exhibition match, but we will follow the tournament rules and allow the lower seed to go first. And in this case, that is Legend of Zelda. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll try to mouse over cards as they show up. Oh, let's zoom. That should be good to see. Should be able to see that now. Try to mouse over the cards as they come into the hands so that y'all can see them. Let's go over the bases. All right, let's get started. Now, the first decision with any Legend of Zelda game is how much energy to place on Hylia, because that's going to determine our first target for um, what we hit for the bonus VP. And looking at these, Angkor Wat and Dimly Lit Room are both fairly small, whereas Ice Crown is the more appealing for 2, but it's got a higher breakpoint. I have a feeling that's going to be a bit more contested, so it seems reasonable that we might want to go for that. I think we'll start with I think we'll do 17 or 18. I'm not sure which. 17 implies that we've got 6 breakpoint damage not coming from us, whether that's breakpoint reduction or power from the other player. Uh, Whereas on the other two bases, it basically means a solo. Might be better to do 18 on the nose, just so we can leave those options open to us without breakpoint damage, just in case we don't see either of those. So we'll do 18 to start. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now looking at the starting hand. Well Done Well is really good to see in the opening hand. We can just park that on a big base, probably Ice Crown in this case, put a minion down there, and start farming some card draw. So I think what we're going to do is Ancient Sage and Well Done Well on Ice Crown Citadel. And we end turn. And we draw the bonus card from Well Done Well after we check for hand size. Now let's go over here. Let's see. What's the opening hand over here? Iron Guard, Rainbow Ravager, Ancient Archives, Ember Mage, Pulverize. Pulverize is good to have in the opener, even if it's not going to get used early. Let's start with Ancient Archives, see what we get. Look at the bottom 5. Oh, bottom 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reveal 1 and draw 1, or place 2 stasis counters on 1. Ooh, Mountain King. Yeah, we're probably going to do that one. I think we've got enough minions in hand that we can actually afford to place stasis counters on it. I don't think we're going to need its effect in the intervening turns. And I think it'll be better to position it where we need it at that time. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I don't think it's really going to matter what order everything else is in. No, I don't think so. So we'll just put those back in the same order. Then we grab our stasis counters. And now we have our normal minion. It's going to be either Iron Guard or Rainbow Ravager on Ice Crown. Probably Iron Guard, so that we can start passively building stuff up. Then we draw for turn. And last turn we drew Topographer, Civil Engineering, and Treasure Chest. Resident's obviously good to see. Topographer will be good eventually. The Iron Guard over here is interesting. That might actually end up helping us. I think we put down a resident for now on Anchor Watt. We've got a 3 already. We could play Treasure Chest for just to smash the pots. That could give us an extra minion, or it could give us just some power. I think the power is better here because these minions aren't necessarily the best to stack right now. We could do Link on Ice Crown in preparation for a break soon, but I think it's going to be at least a couple more turns. So I think for now, what we do is we put the Resident down, play Treasure Chest, search our deck for Smash the Pots. Smash the Pots? Actually, I hadn't considered that. It's actually 2 minions at the same base. Okay, so maybe we do play the extra minion then. We can play Link over here, and that's fine. Yeah, Link's gonna give us an easier time hitting Hylia over here. It's kind of what Link does. And this will be good if we can manage to score that on the first base. So that was minion and action. There we go. We want to hit 18. Oh, we gotta draw again for Well Done Well. We drew Geo Expertise, Power Lines, Hylian Shield. Those are all not bad. At the start of the turn, the Iron Guard will get a power counter. Mountain King will lose a stasis counter. Flame Rune on the Iron Guard would be pretty good to set up for a break next turn. I don't think that they would think Legend of Architects is within striking distance of Ice Crown for next turn. Like, they've got a pretty good setup here, but I think they need quite a bit in order to actually break it. Like, if you had, say, Civil Engineering and then a Topographer, that would only be 20, 17. This comes over as a 4, so 15 out of 17. So as long as we don't edge the breakpoint by 2 net, we're okay. And thankfully, the Ember Mage is a net 0. So if we do Ember Mage Flame Rune, that's at the start of our next turn, that'll be 13, 15, and then Flame Rune makes 18, Power Counter from Iron Guard makes 19, and then we just need 4 more. It's not the worst idea to bank on that. Worst case scenario, we can use Mountain King. That wouldn't be the best use of Mountain King, but we could do it. So yeah. Oh, and then we've got Holy Rune if we really want to do that, because we can get Mountain King right back. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll do Ember Mage. We'll give Link -2, and then we'll play Flame Rune on the Iron Guard. And then we draw 2. Another Flame Rune. Ooh, Flame Rune is the power that we need. We can use one of our 2s and then Flame Rune in order to score the base. Next turn guaranteed. Now, from their perspective, playing that Ember Mage definitely signals that they're ready to break it next turn. So they need to think about this from that perspective. Are they going to be able to break it this turn? I don't believe so, because as I was saying earlier, even if we play Civil Engineering Topographer that drops the breakpoint by 6 and the Resident comes over as a 4, that's still only, this drops it to 20, this drops it to 17, this would be 13, 14, 15. That's not quite enough. It's 2 power short. Now, what we could do is play Geo Expertise on the resident, and then we could waste. Oh no, we can't. That's two actions. Never mind. That's two actions. We can't play both Geo Expertise and Civil Engineering this turn, and I don't think it's a good idea to waste Civil Engineering when we're not breaking a base. So I think for now we just hold off and cut our losses. We can't get Link off or the Ancient Sage off, unfortunately. The Ancient Sage will move away, so we can keep that in mind for when we're setting up. So what we could do is just play Geo Expertise on the Resident and then play one of our minions. Just play Topographer to draw a card. Angkor Wat might actually be a good base for Legend of Architects to go for, especially if we think they might end up soloing it. Those feature counters are going to be very valuable for them in particular. The other option is we play Magnificent Power Lines, probably on Dimly Lit Room. And if we did that, we'd probably do the Topographer. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. We'll find another mini to play Geo Expertise on. Or we'll find another turn to play it, I mean. Play Topographer to draw a card. Ooh, Modeler. That's nice. That's very nice. Magnificent Power Lines will get a counter. We'll use its talent to increase the breakpoint of Dimly Lit Room. The Resident will move over. It'll get +1, that's not going to matter. We're just doing this to get another power counter on Magnificent Power Lines. Counter, you know what I mean. So that in the future it's worth 2 instead of just 1. And 6 out of 19 is, well, more like 5 out of 19 because this is going to go away. 5 out of 19 is nothing, especially when we know that they're probably going for Ice Crown over here. And we'll say goodbye to Well Done Well. It'll be missed. Drew 3 cards though, so that's not bad. Another Resident, that's good. Master Sword, that's really good. Hyrulean, okay. Let's see, and as we were talking about before, this will come off. This will get a power counter. This minus power will come off. And this +2 will come on. I should have said it earlier, but we do have to choose which minion gets power with Umber Mage. It didn't matter who got it in this case, but that is worth noting for the future. Now we need to add 7 more power. 3 of that's going to come from Flame Rune, so we'll add that in now. And now we need 4 more. 4 more. The obvious way to do that is with the second Flame Rune and one of these 2s. I think I'm more partial to using Rainbow Ravager. Neither of them are obviously very good at doing this, but it's better than nothing. It's better than not breaking the base, that is. And then we just have to decide where we're playing Mountain King. If we're going to play Mountain King on Angkor Wat, because it's a nice base that might not score for a little while, especially if they have presence there and they're not going for it. And Mountain King is just so good for Barbarians. It'll be good to get that in play, even if it's not going to help us break the base. So we'll use his talent just because we can. We'll play the other Flame Rune. We'll replace 2 of these +1s with a +5 because the minion was in play at the start of the turn. And then we'll just play the Rainbow Ravager as a 2. And that's Ice Crown Citadel breaking. So before the base scores, don't believe either of them have anything. Master Sword doesn't have its condition met. They don't have a minion of power 0 or 3 minions with the same power, so that's irrelevant. None of the other things do anything. They have Pulverize, But again, that's not going to do anything unless they want to destroy the Ancient Sage, prevent it from moving away. There is some merit to that. I don't think it's necessary, though. I think we're just going to leave it. So that's 4 for Mountain Barbarians and 2 for Legend of Architects. After the base scores, the Ancient Sage will move away and get a -1 power counter. Yeah, I suppose Link could have done something, but again, wouldn't have swung anything. So if we back up a bit, this is 7. We don't want to put counters on the Ancient Sage because then it can't move away. Putting counters on Link doesn't do anything, so we're all good. Magnificent Power Lines will get another counter. And all of this is going to go away. Let's get that all in one group. There we go. And that's unfortunate for Legend of Architects missing out on Hylia from the first base, but if they manage to score dimly lit room with the full 18, then they could still make it work. Mountain Barbs draw 2 cards. I think we're just going to stay as the Game Master, because if we go in here, like, you can't see the cards unless I zoom in anyway. So, there we go. Full size. Now we've got these guys. The obvious thing for them to try and do, oh, and at the start of the turn, breakpoint drops. The resident can react to this, and it doesn't have to move to get the power. So it just gets the power. So we're at 8 out of 18 here. If we can somehow get a full 18 power there, then that would be quite good, because then we can trigger Hylia for 4 solo VP and an extra card. Now, ideally what happens is we can do this with like a modeler or something. Let's think here. Because we don't need Magnificent Power Lines to drop the breakpoint necessarily, unless we need it for Resident Power, but I don't think we will need it for Resident Power. What we can do, Modeler, we need to add 10 power, so Modeler would be 4, 10 actual power if we want to score Hylia. If we don't care about scoring Hylia, then sure, we can just use this however we want. The Modeler would be 4 power in this case. The Modeler could move Magnificent Power Lines to Anchor Watt. We can use the talent of Magnificent Power Lines to give the Resident another power, so that'd be 5, assuming we can move it back, which we can do with, say, Civil Engineering. And that's 6 power. That's our minion and our action, though. I'm not seeing a way to convert that into 4 more power. Let's think here. We don't have any of the Zelda puzzles yet. Ganondorf could be pretty good. He would only be a 5, unfortunately. He'd be a 5. We could trip Magnificent Power Lines for 6 power, and then that breaks the base on its own, because the 4 breakpoint reduction from power lines. I'm just wondering if we can possibly get the last 4 power we need. I don't think we can, unfortunately. So it might be better to just do Modeler and Magnificent Power Lines for 4 breakpoint reductions. That's 4, 8. Resident reacts for 9, and we just need 1 more. How do we get 1 more? The easiest way to do it would be with Civil Engineering, which you could do. No, you could do that before you do Magnificent Power Lines, so that Resident can move away and then move back. Because if you can move Resident, you do have to. Yeah, it's not the worst plan ever. I don't necessarily want to do Geo Expertise to do this, because I think that card is worth a little bit more than that. Because we could certainly do that for the 1 power we need. But I think we're better served as using that as an engine, because we could very well need it later. So yes, that's what we will do. We'll do modeler. We will play civil engineering. We will raise the breakpoint of anchor watt by 3 and reduce the breakpoint of dimly lit room by 3. Resident will react to move to anchor watt and gain a power. Then we'll activate magnificent power lines for -4. The resident will move again. And the modeler will move magnificent. Ooh, oh, this is interesting. Let's back up because, okay, yeah, this still works, I think. But let's back up to here before we've done any of our breakpoint manipulation. The problem here is that, well, we've played the modeler. I think we're still going to play the modeler. The problem is that we need a breakpoint, a base with a breakpoint that is equal to or lower than dimly lit room for modeler to move it away. Now, I think this can still work. We're going to move it to anchor watt. We will trip anchor watt. We will trip the talent on anchor watt, which will allow the resident to move. And then we can do the same trick with civil engineering, and that should still. Oh, is that going to be one short? No, it's going to be one short. Oh, this is annoying. And this is part of why this is the number 16 seed. I would very much like to keep the Magnificent Power Lines in play. That's a very valuable card for them. Let's think here. We only have the ability to change breakpoints twice, I believe. Yeah. We have a talent, and then we have civil engineering. That's it, though. Technically highly in shield, but we don't have a way to get rid of one of our base modifiers, so that's not going to work. Let's see, we could play a resident. Resident would be 10, then drop to 14. Residents both react for 12. It's not the best. The other option that they could go for is to go for Anchor Watt despite there being presence there. That's not the best idea because they're already out of VP deficit. Worst comes to worst, we'll just accept that Power Lines is gone. I'd rather not do that if we can avoid it, though. Move one of your minions to a base that had its breakpoint changed this turn. There's no way that they can break Hotel California, right? That would be ridiculous. Right? Right? Well, okay, let's at least check. How would we do that? We'd play Modeler. play Civil Engineering to drop this to 17, so that's 4 out of 17. Then power lines can move over. Oh, Resident reacts as well. So it'd be 4, then this has the 1, yes. Let's make that clear. So that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from playing Civil Engineering out of 17. Power lines could move over. The reaction doesn't quite work to get a 4th counter on that, so that would be 11 then out of 14? Yes, 14. Yeah, no, that doesn't quite work either. It's close, surprisingly close. I don't think it's smart for them to hold off a turn to try and do that instead. I think they just need points. It's unfortunate that none of the things they want to do quite work, though. We do the modeler again. What we can do is at least save one of the minions. Maybe we can save the modeler, actually. If we move the modeler away with civil engineering, let's say. Resident reacts to move. Power lines will drop the breakpoint. Modeler resident reacts and moves again. Again, we're 1 power short. We can move the Ancient Sage, I guess. Yeah. Hmm. Certainly can't save the resident or the modeler. I wonder if... No, that doesn't work. Yeah, the resident can't get any larger. The modeler can't move anybody that's bigger than 3. We can't get another counter on power lines. It starts the turn at 3. We can play civil engineering first to move the resident away. The modeler gets the 4th counter. Yeah, there's no way to get a 5th counter on it before we activate it. Maybe we can do this with a 2nd resident instead of the modeler then. So again, we'll back up just for clarity. We play a resident instead. We do the same civil engineering play. Didn't undo the power. These both move. And then power lines drops the breakpoint. And they both move back. I could even do this with the Hyrulean. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's better to do this with the Hyrulean and not the resident, because residents are very valuable in this deck. Definitely better to use Hyrulean as a blanket 2 than to use a 2nd resident on this solo, and we don't need to. Alright, we'll go with this. We'll lock this in. Demon Room scores. Pulverize doesn't do anything. None of these do anything. So they get 3 PP solo. 5, yes. And I think they'll just play a card off of their deck. I don't see a point in doing the other player's deck. Ooh, Sacred Temple. Interesting. think we'll put that on Hotel California. Unfortunately, this isn't a card that allows us to save the resident, but that's okay. The Ancient Sage goes away as well, but nothing to do about that. The only way to remove the counters is with like a Smash the Pots or a Sacred Temple, but we don't have access to those, right? We didn't have access to those when we needed them. And we don't need the skeletons over here anymore. The other Castle Blood, also a very good Legend of Architect space. Alright, Fairy Companion is good. That's a good sight. Okay, Mountain King. That power starts to kick in now. I think something obvious to do is play a Barbarian on other Castle Blood, because the base will allow us to destroy it, and it's a good 2-point split to go for. I suppose it doesn't matter where the Barbarian is when it's destroyed, which might mean we want to play it on Hotel California. Wherever we place it, we're not playing action this turn. Neither of these particularly want to be played in Phase 2. So we'll just place the Barbarian on Hotel California. And that's it. Let's see. What are they doing now? It's possible that we do Resident and Geo Expertise, although they do want to put something on other Castle Blood. They want to get 2s into play right now, because they've got Sacred Temple. So I think they play the Hyrulean on other Castle Blood. I think it's pretty clear that they could see the synergy between Barbarian and other Castle Blood as well, and think that it would be good to defend that before they get instantly soloed. Walking better with 1 VP is usually better than walking away with 0 after all. It's unfortunate they can't do this with another Ancient Sage, but nothing to be done about that either. So we'll do Hyrulean. I think they want to play Hyrulean Shield this turn. Just a question of where. I think we do it on Hotel California. Again, playing it on other Castle Blood may be unwise when you can't do anything to trigger it this turn, and there's no sense in playing it where it'll just leave play for no effect. So let's put that on Hotel California as well. Let's clear some of this junk. There we go. So now if we can start getting minions in play, we'll be set up to take something pretty soon. Ooh, Architect. Okay. Korok Puzzle's good too. It's not good to see it at a time when we might be going down to 0 minions in play, but what can you do? Mountain Barbarians, for their part, are probably looking at a Hyrulean as a good snack for the Brute Champion. Let's just do some quick math. If they do that, Brute Champion is 6, Barbarian gets destroyed by Castle Blood for 9, and you can search our deck for another minion. It's any minion at all. Oh, we've got to remember Mountain King power as well. So Brute Champion would actually be 7, and then Castle Blood makes 10. We would need any minion would be worth at least 3 power there. 7 with Brute Champion, 10 with other Castle Blood, at least 3 for 13 with Barbarian. I don't think we can spare the action for Growing Rage, unfortunately. Although, actually, no, we only have Holy Rune and Growing Rage in our hand anyway, so... What minions do we have in our discard? We have Ember Mage, we have a Rainbow Ravager, which the other Rainbow Ravager cannot recur. What we could do instead is play the Brute Champion and destroy the Barbarian that way. And then we use Rainbow Ravager with other Castle Blood. And then we use Pulverize to kill the Hyrulean and still get a 3VP solo. That's not the worst idea ever. There's no movement potential here, right? I'm just thinking it could be possible for us to... No, not Smash Princess, if I can find that. This is the card I'm thinking about. This would be nice, but Mountain King is making them all 3 or more, so that wouldn't do anything. Let's put that back. Not sure. If they can get Hotel California solo, that's probably better, but I don't know if they can. Over there, Brute Champion would be still 7. It would destroy the Barbarian itself on its own. Is that anywhere? It's specifically there. Okay. It's hand and or deck. So what we could do is play Rainbow Ravager as our normal minion. Use... Was that there? No, it's anywhere. Okay, that's good. What we could do is play Rainbow Ravager as the normal minion, use other Castle Blood to destroy the Barbarian, and play a Brute Champion. Then use Brute Champion to kill the Rainbow Ravager. And how much power would that be? That would be 7 from the Brute Champion. Rainbow Ravager would be 3, 4, 5, 6 from Castle Blood. Add that to the Brute Champion. That makes 13. We still have an action, but neither of our actions add power. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, so we go back to Castle Blood. What would be the best to pull with Barbarian? We need 16 to score the base. If we use Pulverize to kill the Hyrulean, that definitely helps a little bit in that regard. Let's take a look here. Let's see, Crush Sim. If we play Brute Champion as our normal minion to kill the Barbarian, that's 7. 10. We can play Rainbow Ravager for 13. Kill the Rainbow Ravager for, the 16 we need. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm okay with that. And the Rainbow Ravager can get back the Barbarian. I think that's going to be better than an Ember Mage. Okay, let's do that. So we do Brute Champion to kill the Barbarian. Brute Champion has a power from Mountain King. Barbarian allows us to grab Agent Crushson. Agent Crushson has a power. We'll play Rainbow Ravager. We'll use the other Castle Blood to destroy Rainbow Ravager. After it's destroyed, we place power counters equal to its power, and get back a different minion. So we'll get back the Barbarian. So we get 3 from Rainbow Ravager and 3 from Castle Blood for a total of 6, and it's not going to matter who these go on. We'll do it Crush Sun, just to be nice. And then before the base scores, I think it's worth it to use Pulverize for -1 VP. The score will be 7-5 as opposed to 7-6. With these bases out, you figure they could easily get Hylia off at some point, so you don't necessarily want them getting 5 from Hotel California to go to 11. So I think it is worth it to Pulverize the Hyrulean. Alright, that's 3 VP solo, and they can't do anything about this. And that's unfortunate for Legend of Architects, but we'll see if they can bounce back. They've still got some tricks up their sleeve. Oh, we didn't even play in action. Bit too late. Alright. Back to Legend of Architects. They're in dire straits now. They don't want to keep Hylia at 18 with this base spread. That ended up being a little bit too high considering they lost Ice Crown, because that's what they were aiming for when they put it that high. They kind of have to go for Hotel California now, and they want to keep playing 2s so that they can hit that puzzle, Sacred Temple. So they'll probably play a Resident, and I guess Korok Puzzle? I have to be careful, because Korok Puzzle lets them play an extra action, but none of these actions are necessarily good to play. Even Geo Expertise may not be the best, because we want to keep the Resident as a 2 for, what's it called, Sacred Temple. Especially since this is mandatory. It still might be for the best, though. Because getting Korok Puzzle will be good. And we can, oh yeah, that's true, Korok Puzzle could allow us to remove any excess power we need from the Resident to trigger Sacred Temple should we need it. Yeah. So we'll do this, this, and this. All in Haunted Mansion, I think? Yeah. No 2s, unfortunate. Probably means they need to just play one of the bigger minions next turn. What are these guys doing? I think they're finally playing Growing Rage. Forgot to play that for them last turn. They should have absolutely done that. And the question is where they might want to play onto California just to get themselves to 11, and if they win the base, and if they lose, still stay at 10. They would need another minion there to secure presence. Considering they have a brute champion, I think it's good to play the Barbarian. So for now, yes. We'll play the Barbarian on Haunted Mansion in preparation for the brute champion landing at Hotel California, and we'll play it there so that Growing Rage can move to Hotel California. So we'll play this. Play the Barbarian, draw a card. This will go over here. This is a pretty good draw. That's going to be a good action for next turn. Fatal Frenzy, not the best card, unfortunately. You'd think it would be better. That's minion and action, so they'll just draw. Okay. Okay. Power lines. What's the other thing? Suburbs. They have Fairy Companion to play with it. I think what they're going to want to do is play the modeler on Hotel California and perhaps. Hmm. Hmm. It's a good question. Suburbs isn't the best because it's not going to do much this turn. I think we still do this. It's just a question of if we're playing power lines, then we'll do that first. It is worth noting that this is definitely set up to play minion here. We don't know that it's going to be a brute champion though. So I think they do still play the modeler. Oh, and this expired a little while ago. Forgot to take that off. Hmm. Mm, yeah. Yeah, that is May. I don't necessarily like stacking all of the base modifiers. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll play modeler. We'll play modeler and we'll play superb suburbs. Yeah. And then next turn we'll at least be able to play Korok to activate Korok puzzle if we play like Ganondorf or something. Ooh, Triforce. That might be easier than Sacred Temple. So maybe they're going to hold off on California for a little bit. We'll see if Mountain Barbarians can break it or not. Mountain King power. I haven't been notating that on the turns where it hasn't mattered because it only applies during your turn. Let's see. I would be very surprised if they can do Hotel California. That would be a tall order. Hmm. Still though, it's at least worth looking at. Hmm. Brute Champion would be 7. Barbarian gets destroyed. We would play, I guess, Smash Princess for just 3 power. What would we play with Barbarian? I'm not sure that any of these are actually very good for that, so I think we hold off for now. I think next turn we could be primed to do something good. So we won't care about this for now. We're not going to play Brute Champion. We could play Attack and do Ember Mage with that. Give them Resident -2 and queue up +2 on the Ember Mage. And that would lead into breaking something next turn, certainly. Probably California. It allows us to get more draw from Growing Rage, because I think at this point we're probably just using Smash Princess as a blank 2 that draws a card with Growing Rage. So yes, this is part of the nice thing about Attack with Mountain Dwarves, is that we can use it non-terminally. We'll grab the other Ember Mage. Where is it? Ember Mage. There we go. We'll rotate. We'll untap Mounting. We'll rotate the Ember Mage to notate that he's getting the power next turn. Ooh. Draw a card with Growing Rage. Have to move it away. Did not. Oh, we did draw a minion. Iron Guard is an interesting draw there. If we put it there, that's 5 out of 18. It seems unlikely that Urban Architects would be able to score Haunted Mansion next turn, so it's possible that we could use that to keep momentum. Yeah, I like that. Draw a card, move it away, and we leave it here. I think next turn's when we're going to be... Ooh, Earthen Mage. Lovely. Both Earthen Mages. Okay, next turn we're probably using Holy Rune, so we can keep some minions in hand. But for now, let's turn our attention back to Urban Architects. The -2 power on the Resident keyword might be helpful here as far as scoring Sacred Temple, because part of the problem before was that it would quickly grow too large. But now we have a window where we could be able to play it. Unfortunately, we don't have the 2 power minions to do that. So never mind. That's not going to work. We will get Korok Puzzle, though. It's possible Korok Puzzle will allow us to do stuff. I think it would be a good idea if we go for Helltail Jethafornia, because right now that is a 4VP solo, and it gets rid of Growing Rage. It forfeits Sacred Temple in all likelihood, but maybe we can finagle things so that we don't need Modeler's Talent or something. Right now the Resident is a 0. Yeah, the starting question is what do we play to trigger Korok Puzzle? It's worth noting we also have Superb Subbers to potentially play the Fairy Companion. That's a quick and easy 4 power if we don't want the Modeler's Talent to move it, because we can only use the Modeler's Talent for one thing. Imagine King is not currently a 6. Adding 18 over there seems tough. Korok Puzzle does trigger Hylian Shield to reduce the breakpoint by 2, which will trigger Resident and Geo Expertise. There could be enough oomph here. What would we play? We have Topographer for 3. 3 at Hotel California. We're not considering Hylia right now. Yeah, we kind of just have to hope that a bigger base comes out. Putting it 18 was assuming that we got Ice Crown, and that didn't end up working out, so now we're kind of just up the creek without a paddle. It would have been better to put it at 15 or something if we thought that we weren't going to win Ice Crown. But Mountain Barbs put together something a little bit faster than they normally would at the start of the game. Okay, let's do this. Let's do some math. Topographer on Haunted Mansion would be free. The resident reacts, Geo Expertise reacts for 2. We can trip Korok Puzzle. That triggers Hylian Shield for 6. 3 from Topographer, 2 from Geo Expertise Resident, so 5. 2 from Hylian Shield for 7. 1 more from Resident for 8. We can move the Topographer over for 11. Oh, we need 18, not 16. That's worth noting. 11. Or we can do Fairy Companion and move that over, and that's 12. Although, we can do Topographer on Angkor Wat with Superb Suburbs. That's a thing we can do. And then that does free up our minion play quite a bit. And we still have our action play. I think, yes, let's start with that. We're going to plan to break Hotel California. I'm not sure if we have the hand for it right now, but Korok Puzzle could give us stuff. Let's just think for a little bit longer about whether we need Korok Puzzle cards for that. We do Topographer on Angkor Wat, and that's 3. Geo Expertise and Resident make 5. That allows us to use Korok Puzzle. Hylian Shield makes it 7. 8 for Resident. Let's say Arc Architect for 13. And then we have an action that could be Magnificent Power Lines for a total of, there would be 2 minions that get positioned there, so 15, 16 once Resident reacts. So we would need 2 more at that point from other sources. We haven't used Modeler's Talent in this paradigm yet, so that is an option actually. Moving over the Topographer, for instance. That is certainly an option. So yes, we can break Hotel California without Korok puzzle cards. So I think it's good to go with that plan for now. Ooh, actually no, that's not right. Because Superb Suburbs doesn't have the minion play. Superb Suburbs does not have the minion play right now. And we can't get it to have the minion play. That makes this a little bit more suspect. That's an interesting oversight. So in that case, let's say we play Arc Architect for 5. Korok Puzzle makes 7 with the shield. 8, 9 over here with these guys. Modeler can come over for 13. If we played Power Lines, that would be 1, 2, 3 minions positioned. So 14, 15, 16. Resident makes 17. That's 1 short, really? Is that really 1 short? Wow. Ganondorf instead of Arc Architect isn't good enough. Ganondorf would only be a 5, because there's no way to get power counters onto the modeler or onto Ganondorf. And again, we don't have the minions in order to play or to activate Sacred Temple, which would be very nice. We can't even do Triforce because we have a resident and we have Fairy Companion, and then everything else is a 4 or a 5. I want to say Korok puzzle cards could be enough. It would need to be something that lets us add 2 more power. No, 1 more power. Ember Mage. Gotta love it. You really do. Although, if we're thinking about this, we may as well also think about Haunted Mansion. Because if we can't do California, then we can at least think about Haunted Mansion, because that could easily disrupt the Ember Mage, because Barbarian is definitely part of their plans. And adding 13 is definitely significantly easier than adding 18. So if we did that, we would do probably Topographer on California. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, extra geo expertise reactions. Let's consider that angle. So now we're thinking that we play Topographer on, I suppose it doesn't matter which. Probably Anger Watt would be safer to target the breakpoint reduction. So that would be Topographer on California for 3. These react for 5 once it's over there. Korok Puzzle makes 7, 8, 9. Power lines would be, well, Modeler can move over for, again, 13. And that would again be 3 with power lines for 14, 15, 16. And then Resident reacts for 17. It's again 1 power short. That's tough. Is there ever room for Fairy Companion in here? I don't believe so. Because we need... It can only ever copy Modeler or the Resident. Man. Wow. Could we ever change the breakpoint of all 3 bases in a way that gets us more power on California? Because this takes care of California itself. This can take care of 1 more base. Topographer can take care of 1 more. Yeah, that doesn't refund it enough, though. Ganondorf's only a 5 from Geo Expertise. Yeah, all of these methods are 1 power short. So we turn to Haunted Mansion instead. That should be easy. Because we do Topographer on, let's say, California. These react for... we need to add 13. So this is 3, 4, 5. This will react so they can move over for 7. I do have to find a way to move it back in that case. I guess that's power lines. That's sort of sucky, but oh well. Desperate times, I suppose. So that would be 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then modeler moves the topographer over for 10. Power lines drops for 11. Resident moves over for 12. Seriously? Really? Is that one short again? No, right? Surely not. Do that again. Drops the breakpoint by 3. These react for 5. Korok puzzle gives 2 for Hylian shield. This makes 7, because they can move over and react. Then modeler pulls over the topographer for 10. If we had power lines there, it has 1 counter for 11. Then the resident can react to move over again for 12 out of 13. So we would need to move the modeler over, but Korok puzzle cards can help with that. I think that's a much safer gambit, because we just need something that drops breakpoint by 2 or something to that effect. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we have a bailout by moving the modeler. It's not the best, but we can certainly do it if we need to. Power, power counter. And now we have a minion of power 2, 3, and 4. So we can do Korok puzzle. We're not going to remove any counters, because these are all positive, and these black things are not counters. They're just conditional power. Zelda would have been a nice bailout. Fascinating Street. Well, Hylian Shield reacts first. We can definitely do Geo Expertise, but the question is, do we want to move the resident over? Because I don't know if we can move it back and still break the base. Yeah, I'm not sure we can, but if we move the topographer over with modeler, that's 11, and then Fascinating Street would be 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, there we go. That would do it. Yeah, that would in fact do it. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, so we're not going to react with the resident. The modeler will react with topographer and will play Fascinating Street. And we'll put it over here since it's going to give us power. We have 4 cards there, so it has 4 power, which is exactly what we need to break the base. Alright, Haunted Mansion is scoring. We don't have 3 minions of the same power there, not that that would do anything. And we only have 10 power there, not the 18 we need for Hylia. These guys don't have any specials, so we're good. Score is 8-8. Haunted Mansion kicks in. They'll bury these guys will bury a resident, probably on California. These guys will probably bury the iron. A Barbarian isn't good to bury because it's going to be a blank 2 next turn. The Iron Guard is going to be better if we want to try and make use of Ember Mage, but I'll calculate that when we get there. Actually, no, I should calculate this now. So this is going to be 4. This is going to become a 4 for 4. This will be a 4, another 4 for 8. We need 22 because, no, we're going to need 24 because, is that on a base? Fascinating Street's going to leave play, and this will kick in to up the breakpoint by another 2. So this might be a waste. I think it's still good to put the Iron Guard there anyway, because that'll allow them to secure presence on California, even taking the ability into account. I know the base is sideways, but should still be readable. Oh, and it triggers Growing Rage. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to put that there. And yes, I am aware that the way this is written, they could bury one of the opponent's cards. I think it's best for them to do their own cards anyway in this scenario, so we're not going to worry about it. Cousin Larry's Smoke Pit is probably not what either team wanted to see right now. It's not enough for either of them to win. Alright, well, we'll at least calculate this out. Ember Mage gets 2 from itself and 1 from Mountain King. Iron Guard gets a power from Mountain King and a power counter from itself. Growing Rage draws a card and goes somewhere else. I'm gonna put that on Cousin Larry. We have Earthen Mages, which will definitely help. There are 3. There are 3 each. Worst case scenario, we can just use Earth Rune. Although I'm not sure that's a good idea because, well, yeah, their setup was just destroyed. It's probable that they can't do anything next turn. So Earth Rune might be a safe backup plan. We'll see. So they need to add 14 more right now. Earthen Mages can account for 6 of that, so they would need 8 more afterward. Fatal Frenzy Brute Champion is, I suppose, an easy way to do that. Yeah, Runesmith would be nice if we had any more flame runes. Yeah. I think they can get it this turn. Yeah, because Brute Champion into any 2 is going to be enough with Fatal Frenzy, I think. Yeah, so I think that does require placing both Earth Mages. And we have Holy Rune this turn, so it's not the worst thing in the world if we have to get rid of something. So we can do Holy Rune. Alright. Let's make some room. And then we play Fatal Frenzy. Brute Champion to destroy an Earth Mage. And yes, it's after, so it's fine. We'll destroy an Earthen Mage, remove a stasis counter from Holy Rune to return it, and immediately play the Smash Princess, who is I'm not gonna do anything, but oh well. And then Fatal Frenzy kicks in to give somebody 5 power. Bit of overkill. I suppose we don't need to. So we can use Smash Princess's ability to move away, I suppose, since we don't need the power. And unfortunately, there's not a good 3 plus VP base. Normally there is, but you know, Smoke Pit only worth 2. Oh well. We'll go with this. This is still a soul of California. This is going to put the game pretty much out of their reach unless they can get Hylia out of nowhere. Alright, California scores. You have to get rid of a random minion, shuffle it into the deck. Is that a leaf player goes to the discard pile from play? And we'll shuffle these up. Brute Champion goes away. That is unfortunate. They were hoping to Holy Rune that back, but still can't complain really. And the last 2 stasis counters on Holy Rune will go to return the Earth Mage and the Ember Mage. Both these recruits, very good. And that sucks for everybody else. Dark Web. That's a strange one. Hard to say whether that's a good bailout base, because they at least don't lose on the spot if they win the base but don't solo it, but at the same time it's going to be very, very hard to score highly on it. Any breakpoint reductions? Yeah, this has to go back down. And oh, there we go. Okay. These guys are in dire straits. I think they just have to throw everything they have at Dark Web. Carefully, because they don't want Mountain Dwarves pulling it out from under them, obviously. So I think we go power lines, Zelda. Are we gonna be able to score Triforce? I'm not sure. I think it'll be hard to score Triforce. And therefore, we shouldn't bother with... Yeah, we shouldn't bother with placing -1s. Power lines, Zelda. Zelda will place a +1 on herself. And we go. Resident, that's okay. Mountain Dwarves, for their part, are definitely going to be going for Dark Web. I think what they can do is place an Earth Mage now, so that Master Smithy has a target, and 2 minions guarantees presence on Dark Web. So that the score is 12 to 14 instead of 12 to 12, which is good, obviously. Oh, and we can also use Runesmith to grab Portal Rune. I think I like that better. We'll do Master Smithy, and then we'll do Runesmith to grab Portal Rune. We put that with the Smash Princess. And we'll tap her for the extra power next turn. That's minion, that's action. I think that should be good to go. Yes. I think they should win next turn if Legend of Architects don't break it. Alright. Speaking of whom, this is sort of difficult because if they do go for Dark Web, they need to make sure that they don't kill all of their minions with the base ability. I think that can be accomplished pretty easily by throwing Ganondorf onto the fire. If, for instance, we go Ganondorf, well, we need to add 14. So Ganondorf would start as a 5. We can use Zelda for 6, 7. Modeler comes over for 11. Power Lines taps for 14 total. And that's what we said we needed. Okay, seems simple enough. Yeah, again, we're not going to be able to score highly because even though that's, what, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 power? Yeah, it's not even 18 power before you start calculating dark web stuff. But yeah, they need to get a move on with points. At least making it one base away from winning will help them. They'll need to get a solo, but they have Master Sword, so it's not completely out of the question. Master Sword has won them a game in similar circumstances before. I wonder if they can do Arc Architect instead. That would definitely be better. Let's see if we can do Arc Architect. Power Lines, Zelda. Action. We do still have an action. No. No, that's not going to allow them to do anything. And they can't add power to Master Smithy. Hmm. We do have... We have Treasure Chest, which can play the other Smash the Pots, which can play an extra minion for us. That's a good way to get Arc Architect in. Yes. I think it's still better to save Fairy Companion for Triforce, if we can manage that. Because I think that's going to be the key to us winning, to well, Legend of Architects possibly winning. So I think it's better to use Arc Architect instead of Fairy Companion. So yeah, we'll do Treasure Chest. Oh, well, this is going to get shuffled back. Thanks, DTS. Thank you. Smash the pots. Alright. Play an extra minion there. That'll be Arc Architect. Treasure Chest goes away. Then normal minion is Ganondorf. Oh, it could be Modeler instead, maybe? Let's think about this. Does Modeler work? This is all the minions we got in there. No. It's 1 power short, because all we have left is Zelda. This is kind of a tough situation, because no matter where we go, Portal Rune is gonna be able to pull stuff over, and it's gonna be 12 to 14, so any base breaking is a win for them. So it's kind of awkward. But again, we can't do Modeler, we have to do Ganondorf. The upside is Modeler will get to at least move power lines over. Yeah, sort of unfortunate. Oh, Zelda needs to make sure that things don't get. We need to make sure Arc Architect stays alive to have a shot at keeping momentum. As it stands, Ganondorf is a 7 and will be targeted for destruction, which is kind of what we want. Because then Arc Architect can move away Zelda. Oh, but there's no bases for it to go to. Yeah. There's no bases for it to go to. Phooey. How can we solve this problem? We can solve this problem by, this is from Zelda's hand. Instead of playing, I think this kills 2 birds with 1 stone actually. We play a modeler. This is still here. We, yeah, the problem is that we need 2 breakpoint changes, but we only have 1 breakpoint changing card. Alright, so I guess we just don't play Arc Architect at all. We just do Ganondorf and a modeler. Because we can still do this, and that's still enough. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but what you gonna do? We can at least do this. And this, I suppose. And this might be better anyway for avoiding an insta-win, because it's possible that Arc Architect leaving more power out could have screwed them anyway. Yeah, they basically need a solo or Hylia next. But yeah, this works. We're unfortunately not able to move anybody away, but again, that might be for the best. Alright, so we'll score Dark Web now. Ganondorf gets destroyed. Nothing else happens, so this is 4 and 2. And we end turn. Do these guys win now? The Master Smithy power still kicks in. Mountain Dwarf power, Mountain King power, excuse me, kicks in. Portal Rune can send this power wherever we want. Could be funny and break Anchor Watt. Yeah. Or we can do Smoke Pit. Yeah, that's technically better VP margin, so we'll do that. Portal Rune will bring over the Mountain King, who did very well this game. We'll place the Earth Mages. And doesn't matter what else we do. Ember Mage, go! Just add insult to injury. Give the modeler -2. And then action, attack. Do we have any other 2s? No. Painguin. Let's see what we get from Painguin. This is gonna be funny. Alright, smoke pit scores. I'm not bothering with the ability, obviously. What do we get from Painguin? Oh, are we gonna get the other Painguin? Crush them. We don't have another 2 to play, so. Well, that is officially game. Final score is 16-12 in Mountain Dwarf Barbarians' favor. Let me know if you enjoyed this. And again, there will be more exhibition games to come in the next couple weeks. You can find more information about the tournament in the description. And that's it. Goodbye.